afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis, hence the name of my channel, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. 4 years ago, I was asked to come up with a series of videos that were filmed inexpensively. We don't use digital cameras, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't use shotgun microphones, we wear tatty shirts, we just use a phone, but we look at cars that you can buy for a budget up to £1,000 only, and we very much enjoy ourselves. These are cars that might be in cosmetically bad condition. You might see oil leaks, rattly dashboards and cosmetic imperfections, but we go all over the country and we find these very inexpensive cars that you all seem to enjoy watching. Well viewers, we've had some Mark III Vauxhall Astras or Astra Fs on this channel before, but I didn't realise the next one I was going to film was going to be a convertible, and well, this one is. It's a 1995 Astra 1.6 convertible. It's got no model designation, this one. It's just called the 1.6i. Some of them were like this. This one, I think, is not perhaps, for example, the best bodywork. We've got a wing that probably needs replacing on this side. The badge needs replacing on the boot. We've got very, very sort of small, tiny bits of rust, but nothing to worry about on here. And we got some sort of little scrapes and dents on it. But, you know, that's the way that we like cars like this down in no budget views. I actually think this car's worth a lot more than £1,000. The mileage is very low on this, and it's about 42,000, which is crazy. And also, this was, we believe, originally a Vauxhall fleet car. It wasn't registered in Luton like most of them were, registered somewhere near Worcester, but that's possibly where they registered them back in the day. So one of the main things to watch of these is the arches, which have been done at some point on this car, as you can see. One remarkable thing is actually that the boot is reasonably big. You see it's got the facelifted rear end. These cars came out in 1993, a little bit after the standard Astras, and were facelifted around the time that this car came out, so early 95 I think it was, or late 94. And actually that's quite a big boot for one of these. We've got some parts to fit in there. We've got, I think that's a tonneau cover in here for the car as well, which is very nice. Boot lights working, everything like that. And we've got some things to pull there as well, something to do with the seats, I think, which probably can just operate those sort of inside the car, can't you, rather than there. But there we go. So we've moved those out of the way. Let's see if we've got a spare wheel under here, which I'm sure we probably do. I'd like to lift this. There we go. There we go. Yep, jack and spare is just under there. It's actually in really sort of good condition considering how old it is. This car's getting on for 30 years old, and you know, it's been treated to rust at some point and things like that. It's got a few scrapes on it, and it could do with a new front wing, but it's pretty good. I'm very grateful to Lee from LSB Car Sales near Thatcham in Berkshire for supplying me with this and a lot of other cars that I'm filming today. So designed by Bertoni and actually built in Italy, this particular car, rather than Ellesmere Port or Poland or Germany like a lot of these were. Look at this seat fabric. I mean, it's ever so 1990s, isn't it? So 1990s. This whole colour is 1990s. In fact, I feel a bit sort of self-conscious driving this car around at all. My lady wife, who is actually from near where the normal Astras were made at Ellesmere Port, she's from Chester, she remembers one of her father's friends having a car like this. It was actually a Mark II convertible on a J plate, so a little bit earlier. These cars didn't come out until 1993, but it was this colour, and she used to call it a baked bean car. And yeah, it does look a bit like a baked bean tin, but that's what a lot of cars looked at the time, wasn't it? So you've got a seat height adjuster down there. I should wind that down a bit actually for somebody like me. Standard airbag. That steering wheel was in a lot of Astras, wasn't it, at the time? And then these controls, just classic kind of function over form. Opel Vauxhall controls in the early 90s. Very similar looking switches were in things like the Mark III Cavalier or the Vectra A if you're from a country where it was sold as an Opel. Air vents, which you don't need air conditioning in a car like this. Reheated window switches down there. I wonder if this does the old trick with the Vauxhalls where you press this button, it turns the interior light on. I'll just see it. Oh, hello, no. Don't turn that. I wonder. Anyway, right, let's get in here. One thing I'm noticing about this car is that this doesn't adjust. I don't think it doesn't adjust the steering column, so it's not the most ideal driving for somebody like me, but there we go. Rather like on the Corsa B, there's a split level display for the radio here. This one is a Philips unit. No passenger airbag. I can't remember if you get a passenger airbag in an Astra F or Mark III. But there we go. And the same old stuff as well, where that is where the electric mirror switch would be, but we don't have electric mirrors in this car. I think on the classical colour edition, which was of higher trim specifications for the Cabrio, you could get those. Open up the ashtray using that button. There we go. That's actually working quite well. The way to open the roof is to undo the catches which normally live here, but we've got the roof open at the moment, so we won't do that. You have to get out of the car to put the roof down. I thought I might be able to do it by just sitting in the car with one hand, but you can't do that. You have to get out and use two hands to do it, which is fine. It's not a problem. 5-speed manual, typical kind of older, slightly imprecise Vauxhall gear change, but that's just the way that they were. Normal handbrake. Not really anywhere to put stuff apart from maybe like a pen or something very thin there. No cup holders. Ashtray in the back there as well. Yeah, seats feel quite comfortable. Although I'd like the steering wheel to adjust, but it doesn't, as I've said. Very, 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 very big door pockets. I mean, the trade plates that I have to put on the car to take it out today, they fit in there really nicely, which is quite handy. Okay, viewers, I'm going to have to get in the back, aren't I? Fortunately, in this car, unlike some of the other cabriolets that were around at the time, like the Metro Cabrio, for example, later Rover 100 Cabrio, you don't have to operate all windows manually. You can actually operate them via electricity, which is good. That is going to be a pain to get in there if you didn't have unlimited headroom, but I do have unlimited headroom, so it's fine. I can just sort of step in like this. That would probably need tidying up a little bit, wouldn't it? That's why I've got the tonneau cover, but this is just for demonstration purposes anyway. You'd probably put that cover on if you wanted to put the hood down permanently. Oh, and I've got no legroom whatsoever. Whoops. Headroom's excellent, legroom not so much. It's only a two-seater in the back of here, of course, but you do get your own electric window control, which is quite handy. I have to free myself of my self-imposed prison. Yeah, that's pretty bad, isn't it? I mean, it's all very well putting batoning on the cells, but actually getting in and out of here is not very easy. It's not very easy at all. You have to turn the camera off to actually perhaps get out. Oh, viewers, that's so much better. Oh dear, that wasn't good. So yeah, because it's the sort of standard spec, we don't have any alloy wheels on this. I always like the facelift that they did with these. The pre-facelift Mark III Astras look good as well. I've driven a pre and a post facelift one. The pre-facelift one I drove was a CD, which was very nice. I like those very much, viewers. Okay, let's have a look under the bonnet, shall we? Good old overhead cam General Motors unit in here, 1.6 litres, in this case generating around 82 horsepower. There's lots and lots of different engines for these Mark III Astras and lots of different power outputs. 1.6 is alone of something like 5 different power outputs. I looked it up and this is 82. Some of the other Astra, the pre-facelift ones are 75. But yeah, as far as I know, it's about 82 horsepower, this engine. Cam cover gasket leaks are really, really common on these, as you can see. Not to worry about really, it's just something to clean up if you want to or not. Time belt cover is just there. But yeah, really easy to work on. I mean, you know, a lot of these parts went into many other Vauxhalls at the time and many other Vauxhalls since, actually. So not the most difficult car to find parts for unless you're going for, you know, cabrio specific ones. Cabrio or convertible names were both used for this car, by the way. Right, I think it's time to go out for a little spin, shall we? Apologies in advance for the wind noise, viewers. I think I want to drive this with the top down, actually. I think it just makes a bit more sense, and the lighting would be better if I do that. So, when the car came out in 1993, obviously some other Astras came out before that, but the convertible came out in 93. There was a 1.6 engine with, I think, 75 horsepower, and then there was a 2 litre with 115 horsepower. At various points during this car's life there were, you know, 16 valve and 8 valve engines, and they were all after about 1995 1.6 or 1.8s. The 2 litre was replaced by 1.8 engine with the same horsepower, 115 horsepower, and those continued right the way through to the end of production of these in 1998, although some of these cars were sold in 1999. This 1.6 is the later version with about 82 horsepower, but I could be wrong about that. The figures I've seen for the 1.6, 1.8 engine just vary so much with these cars that I'm not 100% sure about that. The scuttle shake actually isn't that bad. The camera's actually remaining remarkably steady, so when Bertoni helped to re-engineer this particular car, they actually might have done quite a good job in terms of keeping it quite rigid. Driving position isn't the best because of this steering wheel that don't adjust, but it's okay. The handle's actually right. There is some body roll. The steering's not the most precise I've ever come across, and that's common for most of the Mark III Astras you might find. But it is quite good fun. You know, you could probably use this on a daily basis, provided it didn't rain. I'm certainly enjoying it very, very much indeed. Let's go around this roundabout and see what the handling's actually like. The gearbox is a little bit on the kind of long throw side, but you know, it's just what Vauxhall gearboxes were like back in the day, isn't it? Yeah, bit of scuttle shake there, not too bad though. Just get used to the sort of your driving position and the very long throw from this gear lever. You could get an automatic one of these as well, of course. It's not too bad. The engine seems to have a good amount of punch in it, actually. It seems quite flexible. I think for me, I'm not really somebody who tends to go into much for convertibles. I have had one, which actually was an Astra. It was an Astra H twin top, and it was sort of fun for a while, but then the roof went wrong, which is a lot less likely in this because it's a manually operated roof. But I can see why you want one of these. I do feel just I stand out quite a lot though in one that's this colour, although I think my lady wife would probably prefer that to me. Yeah, it's quite good fun, this actually. It reminds me of sort of motoring from about 30 years ago, which of course is the year that these came out, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. So viewers, look at some trim levels for the Mark III Astra convertible. Standard one like this, like Convertible 1.6, Exclusive, Elegance, Sportive, the Colour Edition and the Classic Edition. I've got some information back in the day which tells me what to sort of look out for on these cars. Sump and cylinder head oil leaks. Yeah, got oil leaks in this one, but that's pretty normal, something to worry about. Leaky shock absorbers. This car feels pretty good like that, in respect. Cracked drive shaft gaiters, which can indicate worn CV joints. There's actually a recall in 1995 to fit an earth clamping on the fuel filler neck of all Astras built since 1993. So there might be some paperwork for that somewhere. And obviously worn soft top. This actually operates absolutely fine, this soft top. It's a little bit of a manhandling case, but it's fine. So viewers, should you consider a Vauxhall Astra Mark III convertible for your hard-earned budget of up to £1,000? Well, probably not up to £1,000. You're not likely to find something that's in any way sort of nice, that sort of money. Maybe sort of £2,000 to £3,000, like this car is. Then yes, I don't see why not. The mechanicals on these are pretty strong actually. They're nice to drive. The car doesn't quite shake as much as I thought it would. I know that sounds a bit silly, but older convertibles do suffer from subtle shake. And I'm thankful to have had a go in this. There's not many around anymore. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more inexpensive motoring.